Dude, this thing sucks.
Hey, Big Z here. And that's me, the little doofus baby who can't figure out how to mix colors. And this is Descent, a niche Roblox horror game that you've never heard of. Myself and my good friend Michael will fully break down everything you need to know before descending into absolute madness. Who's Michael, you ask? This guy.
Hello, I'm Michael.
He's a character who guides the player, but we never get to meet him. He is known only through the facility speaker above our mixing room. Michael offers us the only information we concretely know about our protagonist. Recently demoted to expendable status, considered a liability, and enrolled into an ultra-disciplinary process, whatever that means. But hey, as Michael would say,
Good news.
according to Michael, our task is very simple. Match the color of our assigned mix to the color of the target mix. Simple as that. We have 3 colors to choose from to make all sorts of hues and shades of colors. Red, green, and blue. I'm sure the mixing of these colors will follow logical patterns in the future and not deviate from what you would expect basic colors to consist of. Are you curious what this is all for? It's for this little guy, our patient. Once we've finished our mixes, we just feed the chemical to a willing and non-restrained participant. If you've correctly matched the mixes, the patient is dropped down into darkness. Maybe for more testing? Who knows? What we do know is what happens to patients we inject without properly matching our mixes.
Oh shit, dude.
But let's not worry about that for now. In fact, all you have to worry about is keeping up your assigned quota. The quota is measured in PPS, or patients per second, and is kept at a constant 0.025 for the entire game. The more patients you successfully inject with the correct mix, the higher your current performance. Just don't fall below the performance quota. Michael gets really upset when you do.
You are falling below the performance quota. The performance quota.
You go too long while being below the quota, and this happens to you.
Warning, you are falling below. Michael here. Due to your lackluster performance, we have decided to fire you. We hope you can find successful reemployment elsewhere. Goodbye.
All that aside, I'm sure you get a hang of things now. Easy stuff, really. Just mixing colors and clicking buttons and resetting when you need to. There's really nothing that could...
Michael here. We are experiencing electrical difficulties throughout the facility. Do not be alarmed if lights and doors are not functioning.
Unfortunately, you're not alone here. 2 minutes after your first mix, or alternatively about 10% of your run completed, Michael hops back on the intercom to communicate some electrical errors that have been happening in the facility. However, what he failed to mention was the gigantic floating eyeball that travels along a set path from the 3 facility sections that'll kill you if it spots you. I introduce you our first monster, Gaze. I suppose now is a good time to talk about the Sense map layout. The facility is divided into 3 sections. Section 1, which is product maintenance, Section 2, which is genetic engineering, and Section 3, or liquid products. Gaze travels from the red liquid side of Section 3 to Section 2, then peeks into Section 1, then retreats back to Section 2, and eventually its original starting location in Section 3. Section 1 is your primary location where you will spend most of the game in. After Gaze has completed his journey, it disappears and all power functions return back to normal. So I can already hear you saying, where am I supposed to hide them?
Good news.
Whoever was sent here before us left clues in the forms of doodles across the facility to help us evade certain death. In Section 1 above the stack of crates, there's an eyeball drawn with an arrow pointing to the corner. Sound familiar? Yeah, that's for Gaze. Hiding behind crates allows us to take cover from Gaze's rampage when it gets angsty. Here's an updated map of all the hiding spots we have so far.
Michael, I have an update surrounding your recent change in status to expendable. Good news. You will be promoted back to low-tier asset status after 946 more work hours. Congratulations.
No, this doesn't mean Michael is sending you some kind of kazoo monster to deal with now. Rather, this is one of the Scent's ways of toying with you through sound design. Sometimes random whispers and noises, footsteps, and red herrings will play to catch you off guard or make you think something is happening when there really isn't yet. There's no better example of this than Michael, our favorite out of touch and strangely enthusiastic handler who's either completely oblivious to the real situation down here, or perhaps more likely being pressured to underplay the real horrors occurring down here from up above. Maybe pressure from higher ups with far more knowledge than Michael about the true purposes of the facility and your expendable role in it all. However, let's not forget who you are and why you're down here. Most likely, a previous employee, now demoted to expendable and working on imprisoned patients. And in case you thought the mixing process was too easy, the introduction of gaze just upped the difficulty of your job. Instead of two color mixes, you now have to find the right order and combination of three vat colors to correctly match the target mix. I heavily recommend resetting the mix whenever your mix progress drops to zero. That way you can trial and error what you did wrong and achieve some level of consistency with your mixes.
Michael here. Sector 3 is looking for 20 missing patients. If you locate one, please report it to your nearest supervisor.
Sector 3, not to be confused with Section 3, is nowhere to be found within our tiny workplace. All we know about it is that it somehow lost 20 patients who are now on the loose. Missing patients who are more than likely very upset at their captors and torturers, aka you. I sure do hope they aren't mentally ill or insane or I don't know, dude, maybe call her to some kind of bomb. This is Brain Blast, presumably one of our missing patients that Michael told us about. He can appear around the 5-minute mark and beyond, or about 26% of the run. Why is he called Brain Blast, you ask? Well, because his brain blasts. Brain blasts can spawn in 4 locations. 1 spot in Section 1, 2 spots in Section 2, and 1 spot in Section 3. And if you've been paying attention, you'll notice that most of Brain Blast's spawn locations overlap with our gaze hiding spots. This creates an interesting dynamic in which we need to keep tabs on where Brain Blast is at all times. If Brain Blast happens to be in the hiding spot you need to reach before Gaze arrives, then you're forced to cuddle up with a ticking time bomb and hope that it doesn't go off before Gaze leaves and you can escape. Brain Blast won't stay in one corner for the entire game and will spawn in new locations if enough time has passed after you leave him alone for long enough, or you purposely bait his explosion to go off, then run away before you're caught in the blast radius. But as our friend Michael would say,
Good news.
if you've tried experimenting with different hiding spots, you might find that there are 2 extra hiding spots we can use against Gaze that the game doesn't explicitly tell us about. In Section 1, you can hide behind the red vat and tuck yourself into the corner, while in Section 2, you can hide behind the limb eater machine if you position yourself right. Although these positions are more risky to hide in because of their precise positioning required, once you get the hang of them, they significantly reduce the stress of micromanaging Brain Blast's location while maintaining the quota and avoiding Gaze.
Michael here. Corporate would like me to remind you that if you are feeling stressed, anxious, tired, or terrified, it is a good time to take a break and think profitable thoughts. Thank you.
It's just too bad you don't get time for a break, because soon after this voice line plays, Michael can't resist yapping about some nonsense again.
Michael here. Michael is not here. Or maybe Michael is. Michael is everywhere. Michael is with you, behind you, and has his best smile prepared for your pretty eyes. See you soon.
This is Michael. Or maybe this is not Michael, but he is now behind us and wanting to see those pretty eyes of yours. Don't let him. He'll hurt you really bad. Let's call whatever this is as the game files do. Joseph. Joseph mimics Michael's voice and tries to trick the player into turning around by abusing our great relationship with the intercom man. Whenever you hear Michael's voice, you need to determine whether it's actually Michael or if Joseph's just trying to eat your face. If you turn around, you'll take significant damage and either need to play the rest of the round hurt or eat a limb using the limb eater machine in section 2. More on that later. Joseph spawns in after this voice line, or about 8 minutes in, aka 40% of the run completed. This is one of those voice lines that seem like Michael is just trolling us, but actually signals a complete shift in how we should play the game. The introduction of Joseph significantly hinders our ability to freely look around and gather information about our surroundings. Joseph will always spawn behind you and will only attack you if you turn your camera too far behind you. For this reason, to avoid camera adjustments, we now play in a sort of camera lock strategy, only turning our camera to a new direction if we absolutely have to. We want to face the intercom wall because that allows us to click all the important buttons: inject, the VAT buttons, and the reset button. I hope you've memorized the map and where the gaze hiding spots are, because if you haven't, you risk getting a surprise visit from Joseph every time you turn around to check. We'll also be using our Brain Blast free gaze hiding spots much more frequently now, due to our inability to visually check where Brain Blast is. The best we can do now for Brain Blast is to turn our volume up and listen for any whining, crying, or moaning from him to determine his most likely location.
Good news.
You're halfway done. Congrats! You've been promoted for all your hard work. Oh, here's a little badge for your hard work, and maybe a little more responsibility too.
Michael here. Due to your exceptional performance, we have decided to give you more responsibility. You will now need to handle injured patients as they come through. We love you.
If you're confused what this means, it means our job just got a bit harder. Patients now have a 30% chance of coming in with a missing leg. Limbs can begin to go missing 10 minutes in, or 50% of the run completed. How did one of those legs go missing, you may ask? It's probably best you don't ask, because like most mysteries in Descent, we don't know. We can't inject patients with missing limbs, so we're forced to deal with this issue. To repair the missing limb, we need to utilize Section 2's genetic engineering capabilities. Each patient has their genetic information uploaded to a trial version of a bioformer system. Lol. The tattooed number chain on the top of their head gives us the code we need to input into the keypad. There's even a little drawing from the last guy to hint towards that. Thanks, man. Small problem with that, though. We need to do an entire 180 from our current camera lock to face Section 2 and read the patient's head tattoo. Thanks, Michael. You can tell Joseph isn't around because you won't have a voice begging for your attention. Once you're sure he isn't there, you can camera flip and focus on generating a new leg. Meanwhile, the quota is ticking down, so you need to hurry. A limb can be produced after successfully inputting the patient's code into the keypad. After getting our new limb, we can simply jam it back into its socket, match our mixes, and send our patient on their merry way.
Michael here. Corporate would like me to remind you that you are not permitted to drink any of our patented liquids, even if you are dying of thirst.
Right. Our liquid products. As I mentioned earlier, there are 3 different colored vats for you to use when mixing chemicals to match the target mix. What I forgot to tell you was that these vats aren't infinite. Each use of a color takes 5% down from its starting 100% storage, meaning you get 20 uses per vat at full capacity. If you reach 0, you can no longer use that color. This means you need to make a run all the way from Section 1 to Section 3, and use the provided refueling container to refill your vats. Turn the correctly color representative valve to change which chemical color the refueling container is filled with, and take that all the way back to your vats in Section 1 to get back to 100%. This is by far the hardest journey you can make in the game because of the distance you have to travel. At any moment, Gaze could spawn in, and you have to really keep watch of Brain Blast so that you always have an exit strategy in mind. Joseph also hinders your ability to move your camera, meaning you have to have an excellent understanding of your location relative to Gaze hiding spots, even in the dark without a lot of visual guidance. I think you can start to see why this game only has 3 record completions.
Michael here. Facility meat production is down 6% for unexplained reasons. If you see or hear unprofitable activity, report it to your supervisor.
Meat production? Nothing you should be concerned about. Except you absolutely should be. Introducing our final obstacle, dubbed Meathead. Meathead comes in at about 13.5 minutes, or 68% of the run, and somehow forces you to increase your focus to a level higher than it already has to be. Remember when I told you to turn your volume up for Brain Blast's audio giveaways when Joseph arrives? If you didn't do it then, you really need to now. Meathead's only arrival clue is through audio. To survive it, you simply need to follow what it tells you to do. Don't move. Moving your camera or character at any time when Meathead grabs you will cause it to snap your neck and end your run on the spot. To survive it, endure the weird gurgling and sniffing at your neck until his hands go away and you feel safe to move again. Since Meathead prevents you from moving, it's actually hard-coded into the game that gaze can't show up at the same time Meathead does.
Michael here, just checking in to remind you that you're doing a splentastic job. Keep at it.
Thanks, Michael. Given the choice, I probably want to deal with gaze instead of Meathead this deep into the run. You see, gaze actually pauses the quota timer while in-game time continues, meaning although we have to find a hiding spot for gaze and maybe deal with brain blasts, it's actually less time we have to worry about matching colors like it's some elementary school class, while still getting closer to the game's ending. Our opportunities to perform successful mixes steadily decrease with each new challenge. Limited movement and rotation from Joseph, missing limbs that need to be repaired before mixing, empty vats, and Meathead's forced pauses.
Michael here. If you feel like crying, don't worry. I'm here for you.
Thanks, Michael. The good news is that after that voice line, it's just a 3-minute long sprint to the finale. Since Meathead arrived, you've been dealing with every monster and challenge for 4 minutes, and only need to last a little longer until you reach the end. Well, every monster, at least. You see, there's one last entity I neglected to mention. Known only in the game files as Peripheral, it has an extremely low chance of spawning, likely only once per game, if at all. It has a small window of appearing which spans between 9 to 18 minutes and appears just outside your line of sight. If viewed at directly, it'll disappear with an unsettling audio played afterwards. It takes the appearance of a silver-glass woman wearing an early 20th century style dress. It doesn't hurt nor harm you, it just watches. Everything about Peripheral contrasts the dark and industrial setting of Descent, where it feels like everything is out to get you. Maybe it represents a person of interest to our player, but like most things in Descent, we'll just never know.
Michael here. Please stay here.
This is the last announcement Michael gives us. One of the few phrases that is intelligible is the arrival of quote-unquote cleaning droids. These are presumably robotic droids that have been sent in to clean up the facility mess that's occurred, and they do just that. Michael is cut off from speaking to us, maybe sacked by the cleaning droids and demoted to expendable like us, for being potentially the worst manager slash handler of all time. That's my headcanon at least. A minute after the cleaning droids announce themselves, everything stops. All the monsters go away, and it seems as if they've done their job at cleaning everything up. And then, a door can be heard opening in Section 3. Upon investigating, you can see a dark metallic hallway leading to a bright glowing white light at the end of it. Naturally, you follow it. But there was no escape. The cleaning droids had one last remnant of failure here, and that was you. If you try to turn around from the turret, the walls close in on you. If you try to run through it, you aren't fast enough. The salvation badge you're awarded for completing the game is a lie. There is no salvation here. Only further descent. Maybe some blue and red. This game genuinely sucks.
All right, there's Descent. Wow.
Did I get every badge? Perfection. Complete resource efficiency. Corporate will love these profit margins. Um, yeah, there's no way this game expects me to like get every single one of these combinations right. Right? I mean, like to do that, I'd have to make a Google Doc and just memorize every single color and put their combinations and do multiple rounds of trial and error. Compile a huge database of colors that I can do for one stupid Roblox badge. There's no way anyone would do that ever. It'd be really dumb. A huge waste of time. Yeah, I did it. I know how to mix colors. What about it?